Meanwhile, Kobe Bean Bryant may have retired from the NBA, but he is certainly not retired. On to the next one. Kobe announced Monday that he's forming a $100 million media tech and data fund. The venture, which is not open to outside investors, has already invested in 13 companies, according to the Wall Street Journal. Here's some of them, including the Players Tribune, video game designer Scopely, LegalZoom, VIP Kid, a company that provides a North American school experience to children in China, Chinese e-commerce company Alibaba, and apparel t-shirt company Represent. Max, the question is, who is going to be bigger in 5 years, Kobe or LeBron?
Good question. Kobe's going to be a mogul, by the way. This guy doesn't do things to fail. And by the way, he's become underrated as a player, Kobe Bryant, because these advanced metrics nowadays that grade all the players tend to underrate Kobe. I've heard a lot of smart basketball people say he's outside the top 10 all time. That's largely because his ISO game, you know, the ground shifted underneath Kobe's feet as he was playing and made what he did look less valuable. Kobe's one of the 10 greatest players ever. However, in 5 years, LeBron James is a bigger deal. In fact, LeBron James is a bigger deal right now, Stephen A. And that's mostly because he's actually the better player. Not only do the numbers all support that, all of them support that, except for certain counting numbers, which are not really that sophisticated. The sophisticated numbers all support LeBron. But also because of something that I want to talk about called the anxiety of influence. Now, there's a scholar, a Shakespearean especially scholar named Harold Bloom, who talks about the anxiety of influence, and I'll boil it down quickly. Every writer since Shakespeare has anxiety about being compared to Shakespeare. Okay? This is his thesis. Every player since Michael Jordan has anxiety about the comparison to Jordan. In fact, you see 7-footers facing the basket like Kevin Garnett and all these guys. You mean to tell me if Jordan never exists, they're all turning around and facing the basket? I think everyone wanted to be like Mike. And Kobe Bryant can tell you whatever he wants about number 24. 24 was one more than 23. He was aiming to do Jordan better than Jordan. And unlike everyone else, he got so close. He wasn't as good as Jordan, but boy, he was as close as could be. Same position, same height, same demeanor, same game, same moves, same everything, and he was almost as good, but not quite. That was the modern era. If Bird and Magic ushered in the modern era and Jordan was its apex, Kobe still existed as someone in the modern era and was a clone of Jordan. LeBron James represents the first postmodern player because he was the first guy to come along since Jordan. He wears 23, he's aware of Jordan, everything. He's, I'm not trying to do Jordan. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm a hybrid of Jordan and Magic. I'm a something new. So not only was LeBron James, is LeBron James, by all the numbers, the better player, but his influence on the game will be different because he will stand out as an original, as the first player really in a new era, whereas Kobe, as amazing as he was, one of the top 10 players ever, one of the top 3 non-centers ever, essentially will be overshadowed in history by Jordan, who is the same thing, but first and a little bit better. The answer is LeBron.
I disagree with you in this respect. You think that LeBron is separate from Kobe and MJ. I think the thing that has held LeBron back from being even more adulated, even more celebrated, is the fact that he is lumped right into that category with them. When you think about LeBron James, you think about 3 championships, but you primarily also think about 4 NBA Finals losses, even though I don't count 2 of them against him. You think about that loss to the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals when he folded in 4 consecutive fourth quarters of an NBA Finals. And you said, that ain't Kobe, that ain't MJ. You think about Kobe in his prime, he was a killer. You think about MJ in his prime, he was a killer. LeBron James does things the right way. See the difference? There's a different comparison. And that little nuance resonates in the fabric of American sports culture, because when you shove all of this aside in terms of business and being the iconic figure and generating dollars for yourself and building your brand and doing all of these things, LeBron is clearly going to be bigger because he's at a bigger advantage. The advent of social media in the prime of his career, how that's facilitated him doing so many of the things that he does on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram and beyond, being able to put your own message out there, to do the things that you do. And you're also doing it at the height of the NBA's, celebrity. They are a global, iconic brand in the world. The NBA is one of the top two globalized brands in the world in all of sports, whatever sport you want to pick. LeBron James is a benefactor of that. MJ is one who elevated it to that point. Kobe is one who took it to another level. It was Kobe that was with the crew in 2008 at the games in Beijing, literally talking to them about being businessmen and not just basketball players. It was Kobe whose voice you heard with the NBA lockout when everybody was talking about how the players needed to take less, and Kobe was adamantly opposed to that and refused to take less, like a Tim Duncan and others ultimately did, because he talked about the money that it put in a player's pocket, in an owner's pocket, as opposed to a player. It was Kobe who set merchandise sales records in his last game of his career when he dropped 60 at the Staples Center when I was there in April. It was Kobe who did all of that with Mamba Out, and then you got the T-shirts. So you got Kobe Inc., which he started in 2014. You got this company who he's partnered with an individual with in terms of its investment funds. You've got all of that going on. Kobe Bryant is not going to be bigger than LeBron because LeBron has learned from some of the best and is now taking it to another level at the time that it is right to do so. Whereas in Kobe's case, he's defying odds, elevating himself to another level, and fighting for the time, figuratively speaking, off the court with the things that he is doing, which is a sensational thing on his part.
Stephen A., even internationally, though, you don't think Kobe will be bigger than LeBron?
Well, I think Kobe has
his portfolio is.
Well, let me say this to you: he has the potential. I'm not saying that those aren't extraordinary things. I'm saying we don't know all the things that LeBron James is doing. We don't know all the things that LeBron James plans on doing, and LeBron James is still current because he is a player. Kobe, where he comes in and he resonates exponentially. Kobe speaks 3 languages fluently. Kobe sits up there and does interviews in Spanish. Kobe speaks Italian. Kobe goes to he's doing business in China and encouraged other players to do all of these things. So these are the kind of things that he brings to the table. In the end, what I'm saying is, if you want to say that LeBron James is going to be bigger, it's because LeBron James is still current because he's playing. He's still current because he's a champion, and he can learn from a pathway that has been set for him and elevate it to another level.
I also think part of this, and we don't pay enough attention to it because it starts to kind of seep out into the general culture, is how good you were. That actually has an effect. And if you talk about starting with Jordan, once Jordan was gone, it was Olajuwon for a couple of years only, but then the next real figure was Shaq. Then it was Kobe, and then LeBron. But Kobe's reign, when Shaq started to tail off, and then, he was better than Duncan, but Duncan had his adherents. Unlike, like when Jordan was at his best, it was Jordan. When Shaq was at his best, everyone said Shaq. Kobe never really had universal recognition for an extended period as the best player in the game. Kobe also, in his 5 championships, was arguably, and probably you win that argument, the second best player on 3 of the 5 championships. LeBron James was so clearly the best player on either team for so many of those championships, always on his team, that he should have won MVP 2 years ago on a losing team.
We have to go.
We do.
But the bottom line is this. There was a 5-year period, and in the midst of those 5 years, there was no doubt who the best player in the game was, and it was Kobe Bryant.
I think there was a doubt from LeBron, actually, pretty early on.
He can doubt all he wants to. He's smoking something, too. Because during that period...
I agree. In retrospect, it wasn't, but that influences the way people think about you.
We got to go to break because we're talking about guys arguably the greatest at their craft, and we have a guy joining us who is arguably the greatest at his craft. The one, the only, I can't believe it, Robert De Niro here in the flesh on First Take in Bristol, Connecticut. So fired up to talk to him about his new movie, Hands of Stone. That is next.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? So excited.
Hi.
How are we doing?